right, so we have talked about the characteristics of terrestrial biomes. So let's go into specifics about each one. So a major life, super easy. Thank you, Ms. Hunter. And I already filled this in for you. What we're going to do is highlight some of the specific information that you need to know, because you don't need to memorize this whole thing, okay? There's some really important information from this that you do need to know for the AP test. We will be writing a little bit of stuff at the bottom when we get to ecosystem services. But for now, we're going to highlight, we're going to write just a little bit on here, okay? All right, so the first one that we have on our list is the tundra. Okay, so tundra. Warm, cold. Yeah, it's cold. So I'm going to get out my highlighter tool right here. All right, so what we want to highlight on the tundra is it is cold. And guess what, y'all? Look, low precipitation. So if it's low precipitation, is that going to be tropical, temperate, polar? Is it going to be a forest, a desert, or a grassland? It's polar, and it's going to be a desert, absolutely, because it's low precipitation. Okay, so the fact that you need to know about the tundra is we have permafrost here. Now, some of you may not know what permafrost is. So permafrost is when the ground is permanently frozen. So I'm going to get my writing tool back. Okay. So it is permanently frozen, or supposed to be permanently frozen. Here's the thing, guys. With climate change and our increasing global temperatures, a lot of the permafrost globally is melting. There's actually big parts of it that are melting in Russia, and they're creating very large sinkholes. So another issue is when you have the permafrost melt, there's a lot of decomposition that happens in tundras, and that produces a lot of methane. So we have extra amounts of methane being released into the atmosphere also, which contributes to even more climate change. All right. Locations. So we have Northern America, Northern Asia. So this is going to be mountain regions. Okay. They're going to be mountain regions. All right. So moving on to the boreal forest. Another phrase for boreal is taiga. I know there's some celebrity out there. I don't know. Taiga. You can use taiga or boreal forest. Okay. So what you need to know about the boreal forest is we have, let me get my highlighter tool back. We have coniferous trees. What the heck is coniferous? Coniferous tree. Guess what, y'all? It's pine cones. Y'all all know what a pine tree looks like. You've seen a pine cone, or at least a picture of one. So coniferous cone, make that connection. So these are trees that have pine cones. And what do we know about these types of trees? They are evergreens, and they are green all year long. So even when it gets really cold, it still has those needles, which are their leaves. It's a special adaptation of a leaf. Okay. The fact that you need to know, the largest boreal forest is in North Asia. Okay. North Asia, extremely cold. All right. In the United States, do we have a boreal forest? Yes, we do. Ours is in Alaska. Okay. All right, moving on to the temperate rainforest. Well, this tells you exactly where it is. It's in the temperate region. So the temperate rainforest, what we need to know about this is, we're going to go all the way over here. They're typically our old growth forests. So these are going to be our oldest forests on the planet that have huge trees. So the redwoods, I'm going to highlight redwoods right here. So these are going to be, in California, okay? So we find them in the Pacific coast and in Japan, okay? So let me get my writing tool back out here, guys. All right. So the largest old growth forest. Okay. Now, the next one is the temperate deciduous forests. Now, I know you guys learned the difference between deciduous and coniferous a long time ago in elementary school, and I guarantee you don't remember. But I just gave you a hint for the coniferous forest. Remember, cone, coniferous, pine cone, evergreen, pine tree, okay? The other type we have is deciduous. So that is what we have in most of the United States. Deciduous means that the leaves fall off. They turn the pretty colors of orange and yellow and red. Those are the trees that shed their leaves. We have 4 legitimate seasons. Maybe not in Texas, but we have 4 seasons. Okay? So this one right here, let me get my writing tool. This I'm going to tell you to put a star next to. On your test for Unit 4, your FRQ is going to be about temperate deciduous forest. So please make sure that you pay extra close attention to this one. Okay, so let me get my highlighter back out. All right, so the temperate deciduous forest, we're going to highlight seasons. Yes, we have all 4 seasons, which means that the amount of sunlight we have will vary. All right, so under seasons, I'm going to put moderate sunlight. Moderate sunlight. You guys know that the amount of sun changes when we transition from summer to winter, and then from winter back to summer. Okay. All right. What else you need to know right here? Deciduous trees. The example is a maple tree. Does a maple tree lose its leaves in the fall? Yes. Okay, that is what deciduous means. So, maple tree, deciduous forest. Now, we also have what we call leaf litter. So when all the trees fall, or when all the leaves fall off the trees, where the leaves go on the ground, that's called leaf litter. Okay? It creates a decomposition. All those nutrients in the leaves go back into the soil, and it impacts the soil fertility and productivity. Okay? Where do we find the temperate deciduous forests? Well, the biggest ones are going to be on the East Coast. So we've got North Carolina and Virginia. All right? Okay. Moving on to the chaparral. There's really nothing specific that you need to know about the chaparral other than it is also called a shrubland. Now, on your project that you'll be learning about shortly, I did include the chaparral, but as far as having questions on the test, I'm not going to do that. All right, go back to highlighter. All right, next we have is the temperate grasslands. Okay, so this tells us where it is. It's temperate, and it tells us what kind of plants are there. It's a grassland. So what we need to know about the temperate grassland, it is the most fertile soil. The most fertile soil, because we have a constant turnover throughout the year. You have hoofed animals that eat it. We have decomposition that happens, and then the nutrients go into the soil, and it creates a very rich soil that we can grow plants in. Okay, what else we need to know right here? It is converted for agriculture, which we just talked about was a human impact. Okay, Kansas. So this is, basically all the Midwestern states. It's all grassland. If you've ever driven through there, there's nothing to look at. Okay. All right. The next one is the tropical rainforest. This is everybody's favorite because there's just so much biodiversity there. But the tropical rainforest, what we need to know is that the soil is nutrient poor. Okay. Nutrient poor. Most people think that the soil in a tropical rainforest has to be the best because it has incredible biodiversity there, but it's not true. Basically, as soon as something decomposes, those nutrients are sucked right back up into something else. They don't stay in the soil very long. So it's nutrient poor. So this is what we call, let me get my pen out. It's nutrient poor. So this is the main limiting factor in a tropical rainforest. Main limiting factor. All right. How many nutrients are available dictate what's going to grow. Okay. So we know that it is the most diverse terrestrial ecosystem on the planet. There are more animals and plants there than any other terrestrial ecosystem on the planet. And I think you guys know this, but it's important to just go ahead and highlight that Brazil has the largest, which is the Amazon. It is not the only one in the world, but it is the largest. All right. The next one we have is the savanna. Savanna I really love. I think it's super cool. There's so many different things that go on there. The savanna is obviously going to be a warm location. It is going to be in Africa. It's the only place we have a savanna is in Africa. Let's see, what do we need to highlight? All right, the soil is compact. It's hard. Why? Because there's a lot of herd animals that live in Africa, and so they are constantly walking on the soil, hacking it tighter and tighter. Okay, so the compact right here we're going to put because of herds. Okay, a lot of these herds migrate. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here where it says fun facts for the AP exam. Hooved herbivores. That's one of the tongue twister. Try to say hooved herbivores 5 times real fast. Compact soil because of hooved herbivores. All right, our last one is the hot deserts. So this is the other end of the spectrum. We started off with tundra, cold desert, so this is going to be the hot desert. All right, precipitation, low. We know that. The soil is rich in minerals but poor nutrients. If you don't have any nutrients, you can't grow anything. So that's why you don't have a lot of plant growth in the desert. Okay, so as I said before, they're fragile ecosystems. They have low resilience, which means they cannot bounce back very easily from disturbances. Okay, so that is basically the information that you need to retain for terrestrial biomes. And apparently I've talked a lot in this video. I was expecting to finish this page, but I'm going to make another short video about ecosystem services down here at the bottom.